Then my second attempt, everything, she gave it to me and she said, just look through whichever you want, whichever scenario you want to use, just choose that. And I was like, anyone, I'm just fine. And then she said, do you know what assessment is? Do you know what planning is? And I was like, of course, if I don't know them, I wouldn't be coming to write OSCE. Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Succinct Julie. On this channel, I talk about nursing, midwifery, women's health, and a lot more. So if you watched my previous video, you'd see I talked about a bit of my ordeal while trying to cross from nursing to midwifery in the UK. So this video is still called to the last one. I will be talking about how I finally passed my midwifery OSCE in the UK, how I became a midwife eventually, and the lessons I learned during this my ordeal. Kindly watch this video to the end so you get the OGs. I prepared once more to go for the final attempts, guys. This last one, I don't even know how to read again because I was like, what was I going to do? At this point, I had to mail the OSCE facilitator. I got her contacts. I got her email address earlier. I told her that I needed the latest OSCE, the news chart, because I felt I was using the old chart. So I had mailed that I would like her to send me the latest OSCE chart, and she told me it's still the same, it's still the former one they are using. And I told that the last one I used was longer, it was wider, it contains a lot more parameters that I needed to fill, and I was confused. Guys told me that it's still the same meals charts and there was no recent one. And let me not forget to tell you that at this point I had already gotten a job. I had already gone for interview in my trust and I got the job, but I told them I failed my OSCE. I had to redo my OSCE. So guys, on the last attempt, I knew if I didn't get it, so everything that was already looking beautiful, the job I had gotten, everything was going to just go like that. I wasn't going to take any chances. So that was even the more reason I had to send an email to her asking her for the chart. And then she told me it's still the same thing. So I was like, oh, what was I going to do? You know what I did? I printed a lot of charts from the internet, like about 5-6 versions of charts from the internet. And I was practicing with various charts, like so that if I see anyone, I'm able to tackle it. I did that. And then the final day came for me to travel, because I normally travel a day before, so I'm able to settle before the exam and all. Like I said, it was a 5-hour journey. Just as I was arriving in my hotel the day before the last attempt, I was just settling and I just got a mail from the center. You know, I was just pissed. Like, why are these people sending me email? And it has never happened before. They do not send me emails randomly. You know, if I was going to do OSCE exam the next day, or maybe in a few days, they would have sent me a message 3 days before, you know, sending a reminder of my OSCE exam. So it was so surprising to see them sending me an email just the day to the exam. So I opened the email and guys, I just saw the most emotional mail. The most emotional email I've ever read in my life. And then they told me, oh, dear Jumoke, we are sorry. Oh my God. We are sorry. We realized we gave you a wrong chart in the previous exam. And this contributed to your failure in completing the chart and blah, blah, blah. Honestly, I can't even get the words of the email verbatim. But what they're just trying to say is apologizing because they realized they should have given me the exact same chart I used in the first exam. Because how OSCE plays out is that if you fail a particular station, they are meant to give you your previous, sheet, what your previous answers to the previous question, so that you can go through before the real exam starts. But in my own case, they didn't give me anything previous. Everything they gave me was new. So it was like there was no even time to really look through my previous sheets, look through rather, and see where I've made a mistake and see where I might likely need to adjust and stuff like that. Immediately I read the message, I crowed. I cried and I crowed. Oh my God. Like, this was for joy. Although I was already thinking in my mind that once I passed this exam, I was going to eventually email NMC telling them what this particular center, I've used this my two eyes to see. This is because I eventually met people later on because when I failed the exam, I just started, I now expanded my search, asking for people, do you know anyone who has done any OSCE in this particular center? And people started sharing their experiences. I have someone who has gone back there 3 times, people who failed, like finally. I had people who failed 6 stations at once, 7 stations at once, and I'm like, definitely there is something wrong with this center, because you will not be prepared for OSCE if you don't have a certain level of preparation. So I just felt no. Even Oxford, that we're all shouting about, screaming, Oxford is this, Oxford is that. Oxford, I've never seen anyone recorded, 6 fails out of 10 stations or 7 fails. But you see, this is my particular university. So I had planned I was going to write NMC, explaining everything I experienced, how they didn't give me my previous sheets just to review before the exam and everything like that. But then this center came and they apologized for doing what they did, and then now they told me I just need to come in the next day and just show up for my planning. And in the real sense, it was because I failed the assessment that I failed the planning. The assessment, let me rephrase, the assessment I failed was like a prerequisite to me failing my planning, because if I had gotten my assessment right, I wouldn't even have failed my planning. I would have, aced it. But because I was sort of disorientated at the first stage, I couldn't even just get myself again. So this time around, they told me to come to the exam. Nonetheless, come to the center the next day and they will see how they can just, go through my planning and blah, 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 blah. So that was what happened. The next day I got there. In fact, they knew me already. I didn't even need an introduction. They knew me already and they were like, oh, come. My examiner was like, come. And then she gave me everything I'd done. My first sheet, my previous sheet for my first attempt was there. My second attempt, everything, she gave it to me and she said, just look through whichever you want to use, just choose that. And I was like, anyone, I'm just fine. And then she said, do you know what assessment is? Do you know what planning is? And I was like, of course, if I don't know them, I wouldn't be coming to write OSCE. And she was just like, she just asked me a few questions, testing my knowledge and all. I didn't rechat my meals score. I didn't do that. I didn't even do anything about the planning. She just told me to read through my previous planning and if I wanted to copy it in a new sheet. No, absolutely nothing. And then the next day I just got my results. You are fast, guys. This girl is too good though. I was so happy. That zeal I had, that boil I was boiling inside of me to write the NMC and everything just disappeared. Everything just melted. I just felt like I have been vindicated. God just fought my back because, of course, they didn't refund my payments. No, they didn't refund my payments, but I was happy to gladly leave the payments. This is what I wanted. I wanted to pass. And I have passed. I was happy to just leave it. And that is my story. So I just emailed my trust, the maternity department. I just told them, now I have my OSCE and I'm ready to resume. And from there, we started discussing about the resumption date and all. So guys, in the whole of this story, something stood out for me. Number one is it doesn't matter how much you have struggled. It doesn't matter how much of obstacles you have encountered. Once your success comes, once your testimony comes, you forget all your pain. If your testimony comes or your success, that thing you're dying so hard to achieve, if they come and you still feel pain, the testimony or the achievement is not taking away your past struggles, it's not making you really forget your struggles, then that's not the testimony thing. that's not a testimony for you. That's not what you want. Because automatically what you want takes away all your pain. It takes away everything. Honestly, I forgot my pain. So in a nutshell, when your testimony comes, you automatically forget your sorrows. You automatically forget your pains, especially if it is that testimony right for you. Number 2 thing I've learned is sometimes we don't need the rush. Sometimes you just need to wait, just a little more wait when you're running at your pace. Even if everything seems like they're not working out for you, and you say, no, this is what I want, you keep running, you eventually meet hold up. Not even on night traffic. You know those Lagos traffic that I had people stay for 3-4 hours. And I think that was what happened to me. Because I was so much in a haste, I was so much in a hurry, I wanted to do the OSCE. And it wasn't much of my fault. It was because I didn't want my IELTS exam to expire. I didn't know that I could actually use my 1 year post-PIN experience. And then another thing was I was so tired of my word. I was tired. And add it up to here, I didn't want to spend an extra month or extra minutes in that word. I was so exhausted from working in my word. So I just wanted to, drag everything. Remember, a lot of things didn't want to work for me. A lot of things, from me getting study leave, but I continued regardless. When I was looking for OSCE Center too, I didn't get the one I was familiar with. I got the far ones, the one I didn't even know if anyone had written there before. And I was like, oh, because I didn't want to wait. I didn't want to wait for any review. I just went ahead. So that was another thing that was like a red light for me to just hold on. But I didn't. Did I hold on? I didn't hold on. So at the end of the day, I eventually passed OSCE at the last attempt, which was February 2023. My manager that has been telling me, wait till February before you get approved. I didn't wait. The date I saw in other centers I knew, they were saying ending of March. I didn't wait. The OSCE that was waiting, that I was so eager for it not to expire. By the time I passed, the OSCE already expired. But then NMC, because I had already uploaded the result on my NMC page, they still took it regardless. And then when I called NMC, they said, oh, even if it wasn't still valid, they could use my 1 year post-PIN, which is already an evidence on my portal, because they knew when I got my PIN, and so they could just go with that. So you see, a lot of things didn't want to work, but I didn't relent. I fought on regardless. So sometimes you just have to slow down. I felt if I had done this same exam in this is it Austria? Oh my God, I've forgotten this Ulster. I think Ulster in Northern Ireland. If I had done my OSCE in Ulster, I would have passed at first attempt, and I would have gotten the 20 points. So a lot of things that actually was not working right for me, but regardless, I was moving. So at the end of the day, I eventually got my PIN updated in that March, and I didn't resume my new job until May that year, until May 2023. Then the third thing is, which is like sequel to the second point I've made, is when the time is right, the time is right. You do not really need to put in a lot of effort. Honestly, at the third attempt, I don't even know what to read again. I was going back for just what I'm planning. I do not know how best to prepare. I had, recited the thing over and over again. I was so exhausted. I didn't even know how else I was going to tackle it. I didn't really put much effort, honestly. My plan was that when I got to the hotel the previous day, I would, review my assessment and planning. I didn't read, I didn't do much, and see what God did. So I just felt it was just the right time for me, and it just happened. It just happened. So when the time is right, your efforts do not matter. Your efforts, your energy, you don't need to exhaust yourself. When the time is right, the time is right. So guys, this is my story, how I failed my OSCE, how I eventually passed, and you all know my story already. You know that I'm working as a midwife and I'm happy about it. And it's like one of the best decisions I have made in this, my entire relocation to the UK. So thank you all. Thank you all. Till next time when we meet again. If you have watched this video to this point, make sure you subscribe, like, share, comment, and interact on the video. Honestly, it makes me happy. It makes me happy to see your handwritings on my videos. Thank you very much. Till next time, meet again.